What is up, everybody? Welcome back to this special episode. As always, we start the show off by showing love to those companies who help make this podcast possible. Guys, Bluon, like I say, man, they're one of the newest ones, but I absolutely love everything about them, what they do and what they stand for, how they're helping technicians out in the field. It's like having that tech support, having that old head, that guy that gives you all the answers, just hiding right in your pocket. It really, really is. Okay, guys, Bluon is a new sponsor of the podcast. Bluon is a perfect sponsor as we are both about the same thing, empowering HVAC techs to be better and have better lives. We all know Bluon for having the best app to get us manuals, info when we need it, and having the best tech support out there. Now Bluon is taking it up a notch, giving you access to exact part list and part numbers for 300 plus model numbers and serials, then letting you order those parts directly from your local supply house. Whatever supply house you normally go to, you can still use that. You guys are going to love and you guys aren't going to believe how easy this is. Bluon has done all the research for your supply house. All you need to do is find the right model number and Bluon takes care of the rest. You can even send requests to suppliers who don't carry the brand you are working on because Bluon gives that supply house the cross-reference info and options so they can get you a 100% compatible part that they carry. How freaking cool is that? Bluon just keeps raising the bar on how they support techs in the field. As we all know, Bluon is 100% free to the technicians forever. But what you didn't know is that when you order parts from your local supply house using Bluon, they get paid a small fee. This is how they can keep giving us all of the amazing free support. You get to support Bluon by making the choice that only you can make to order parts on Bluon. It will save you tons of time, frustration. You will never get the wrong part again, and you will contribute to the Bluon community, which is here to serve techs. How cool is that? Guys, it's pretty awesome. That app, you can order from the same Johnstone, like I say, Carrier, Train, whatever supply house you use, you can still order and support those same people that you do. You're just placing the order through Bluon. You're making it easier on your parts house because you're sending over exactly what you need, exact part number. They don't have to look it up, nothing. It's a win-win for everyone. So download the Bluon app, become a Bluon Pro member, and get all of these amazing free features. You cannot beat it. All right, guys, next but not least is my friends over at CompanyCam. Guys, CompanyCam is really, really amazing. Guys, we all have these phones in our pockets, and I don't think that we use them to their full potential. You know, yes, we take the before and after pictures, which is great. Showing the customers, being transparent, showing them that contactor, that capacitor, that motor, showing them before and then showing them after you do the work, especially for the ones that can't come down. They can't get to the basement. They can't get up in the attic. Show them those before and afters. It's amazing how powerful that is because it shows that you have nothing to hide. The other part with this is it geotags it. So this thing will actually mark the location of where you're doing it. It will tag the timestamp, everything. So you are covering your ass. Sometimes we all know there's those hard to deal with customers. Sometimes maybe, oh, well, Jimmy didn't clean that coil like he said he did. Well, if your company has that, you know, that picture that's marked, it's geofenced. It shows exactly where you are, the time you were there, what you were doing exactly. You're covering yourself. It also, when you go on Google and you look up pictures of companies and stuff like that, all these things can be uploaded to help you. So when neighbors start looking for HVAC contractors, all of a sudden your pictures are going to pop up. It's guys, check out CompanyCam. I'm going to read this real fast. The only app every HVAC company needs, CompanyCam, makes it dead simple to communicate, document, and problem solve with your technicians no matter where you are. CompanyCam brings documentation, communication, and liability protection together in one simple, easy-to-use app for you and your entire team. Take unlimited photos and videos, share custom reports, create flawless before and afters, and even communicate and share progress with property owners with galleries and project timelines. All from your smartphone. CompanyCam, the only app every HVAC company needs. Check it out at CompanyCam.com/HVAC Uncensored. Go get a free 14-day trial. Free. No credit card, no nothing. 100% free. If you like it, great. If you don't, you didn't lose anything. Move on to the next one. But if you like it, they will give you 50% off your first 2 months. All right. I was only going to do 2, but I'm going to do this last one real fast because I missed them the other week. This is the other newest sponsor of the podcast, Mr. Ryan Friend, my friend over there, the CEO and president of Chiirp. Guys, the guest I'm going to talk to today can kind of talk about this as well. As you're growing a business and you're doing different things, you're wearing so many hats, and it's hard to try to do everything. One thing we have to do is stay in constant communication with our customers. You can't always be the one to send that email, to send that text, to make that phone call. You just can't. There's not enough hours in a day. So you need automation. Or when you're building a company and you have to do the Home Advisor, the Angie list. And I know that they're a pain in the butt, but it's a way to build your business, at least until you build your customer base. But we all know you have to be the first person to call. Otherwise, you're going to lose that lead. Well, there's automation for that, so you don't have to do it. Okay, Chiirp, what it can do is it sends text messages for you, ringless voicemails, emails, all that. And it looks just like it's coming from the owner of the company, or whoever you want that text to be from. It looks real. We did this with the owner when he was doing it to me, and I thought it was Ryan texting me, and it wasn't. It was automation. It was amazing. The other thing about those, imagine if every time one of those, Home Advisor leads came in, Chiirp was able to automatically contact that customer, be the first one to do it. And now all of a sudden, rather than getting maybe 20% of those Home Advisor leads, now you're getting 70%. It paid for itself right there. So guys, check out Chiirp. If you go to www.chiirp.com/HVAC Uncensored, they will give you 50% off your first 3 months. Whew. All right, man. I got to stop smoking. That's why I'm always breathy. Guys, a great show tonight. I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. It's somebody that I look up to. I've been following for a very long time, and I can't wait to have this conversation. So let's get this pledge and let's rock and roll. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Five, four, three, two, one, go.
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KV Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. I am your host, Gil KV Jr. on this Thursday night. It's not the normal night. We have a special episode. But guys, I have a great guest, especially all you follow on YouTube. I know you know who this guy is. Everybody in the HVAC YouTube community knows who this person is. Everybody in the Facebook group knows who this is. So I'm just going to get right to it. Guys, please put your hands together and help me introduce Mr. Greg Fox.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here. I know you're a busy man. I've been looking forward to talking to you for a long time, man. So I really thank you taking the time to come on tonight.
I appreciate it, Gil.
Yeah, man. So I always tell everybody that it's I know we were talking off air, but I wanted to ask you about so what was kind of what happened when you finally decided, hey, I'm going to go start my own company? like what was going through your mind? What was going on that made you finally make that step to start, Fox Family Heating and Air?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think a lot of us have been there. But if you have been there, that means you are probably with a company that you didn't like working for, or maybe you didn't really align with their values. And I think that's something I've always been about. Like I'm a Midwestern boy. I live out here in California, and I've been out here in California for 24 years, almost 25 years now. But at heart, I'm an Indiana boy, and I don't know. I grew up in a blue collar town, Amtrak, mechanical yard. That's what that town did basically. But like when you start working for this big company, I started out as an installer, and then I made sort of that, after a few years, I made that natural progression over to service, in the maintenance side. And then it's once I got into the service side that I started getting, all these KPIs and all these benchmarks that I was supposed to be achieving, like, for instance, for every customer house I go to, or new customer's house that I go to, I was supposed to convert, not only just take care of that customer and give them great customer service and all that stuff, which is what I'm really good at, but you had to convert those people over to club members, maintenance club members, which is a great idea. Or if their system was over 12 years old, you were responsible for turning that 12-year-old system over to one of the comfort advisors so that they could try to sell them a new system. It's just a lot of, that's where we didn't align. And today I still run my company the same way, where I'm just like, it's not about the numbers. It's about creating relationships and taking care of people. And I think that company and me just got to a point where, I just kind of hit that meltdown point. I was just like, you know what? Screw this. I'm out, and I went and told Melissa, hey, I think we can do this, So I was jobless for like 6 months while I got my contractor's license, but that's the point. That's what got me to this point, was to actually start up my own company, was just those fundamental values that are so deep in my soul that I just wasn't willing to sell out like that.
That's awesome, man. And like I said, for you, man, like it's hard for people to start a YouTube channel. It's really hard to start a business, and you kind of did both at the same time. And that's awesome. I mean, so you just said how you started a business. So what made you think I'm going to start a business and I'm going to film it and put it on YouTube?
Man, did you ever watch Dr. Zarkalov, Dr. Z?
Yeah.
Back in the day, right? So he's one of the first HVAC guys I was watching, and then of course watching Zach Ciota, and just some of those the OG guys that have been around for a while, and I was like, I really liked with Zach and who's the guy from Mississippi who we were just talking about him. Louisiana.
John Israel.
John is. Yeah. And so we'll be watching him, and I just thought, hey, I'm going to try and, I was literally sitting down at this computer, and I made that first video about what's that smell, the first time you turn on your gas furnace each year, as if heat exchanger burning off the dust, basically. But it was a good one to sort of, bring up. And then I was like, I'm going to be like Zach, and I'm going to go take my camera with me, my GoPro or whatever, and, to just sort of take these people along on my AC calls with me. Because Zach was doing the same thing, right? And John was doing the same thing. Ralph Wolf was doing the same things. And so I was just sort of kind of copying what they were doing. But they were all on the east of the Mississippi, and I was out here on the West Coast doing it. There were already other guys out here doing it too, but I don't know. I just caught on out here and got along good with everybody. What's amazing is the unicorns that are out there just getting hundreds of thousands of views on their videos. Every time they put out a video, it seems like they're just dwarfing my video, my view count. But but I don't really pay attention to that, man. I focus on me and what I'm doing, and that's all I can really influence. So
well, you're up there on subscribers on YouTube now, aren't you? Like
yeah, I'm almost at 50,000.
Yeah, damn right. And that's and people got to realize like our numbers, well, I don't even say R because I'm not in that category, but like our like HVAC is like those people. If you get like 50, 100, like that's like a lot for our niche. It's not like, you know, the TikTokers who just me do this and they get a million. They get a million subscribers. So 50, 100,000, like that's a lot. So that's awesome. That, you know, congratulations for you, because I've seen some of your last videos, and I know you've had some really educational ones that you've been talking about, like really explaining things. Like that's really cool, because I think that's kind of the route that I'm gonna take, because like we were talking about off air, I'm not in the field anymore, so I can't make those videos, and I can only follow our team along and bug them so long. Like, hey, I'm going to film you while you're in the field. They're like, dude, go back in your truck. Like, leave me alone.
That's exactly right. And I've totally found myself in the same situation. I started hiring people. I found myself less and less in the field, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to make now? So I guess that's when I started focusing on answering questions. I needed to answer questions. So like 30%, a third of my videos were for customers, a third of my videos were for new business owners, and a third of my videos were for the technicians. And I've always just tried to maintain that ratio of content that I'm putting out there. And so it's nice. It works out really nice.
So when you started doing like the content, did you was it just kind of whatever you shot at the time, or were you like thinking about, like, were you planning your videos out like beforehand, or was it just whatever you kind of did, you just made the best of what you did?
Yeah, so like when I was first out there, doing the calls, that was just sort of me on the fly. I wasn't even editing. They were horrible videos. They were just awful. But if you start a channel, that all your first videos are going to be crap. And then every week, like if you look at the thumbnails of all my videos from 2015 up to now, like every video gets better and better and better and better. And it's probably the same for your podcast, right? It's
absolutely.
Like your first ones are kind of a joke.
Like I was talking to a tin can. They were pretty bad.
Right. Right. And now look at this. I mean, look at this screen. It's amazing. Like you're very professional looking.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten into a routine. My videos now, like I read it off of a teleprompter because I have a lot to say, and I know that my viewers don't want to spend 10, 15, 20 minutes listening to me ramble on. Like, dude, get to the point, tell me what I need to know, and then get off. And I have found that I've gotten a lot more view time, a lot more views when I keep the videos short and concise.
Yeah, I agree. I was looking at it. It's funny you say that because that's me. I'm a rambler. Podcast, I yap in my mouth. But when it comes to a YouTube video, that's not what they want, because I have a teleprompter too, where I've tried to at least bullet points, if I don't do it all out. So if I do make some kind of video, I make sure I'm saying what I need to and I don't keep going. Or I have this big clock right here. I set a timer so it flashes. So I know like, hey, I need to shut up. I'm at 10 minutes. It's time to get off of this. But like I was telling you, man, one thing I love about yours is if you go back and like watch your YouTube channel from the beginning, like you can see your journey. Like you see you out there in your truck with the little things on the side, pulling your stuff out, like you out there doing it yourself to where you are now. So like I highly recommend anybody out there who was thinking about starting their own company, your channel is amazing to watch because you can see that journey and how it progresses. You know what I mean? To where you are now. Like that's amazing, man. Like I said, I commend you for what you've built. And when you watch the videos and you see the stuff about you and your team and the culture you've built, like you can tell, like how you said, the reason you started your own company, you can tell that you've stayed true to that. And that's why your company is what it is now.
Yeah. And when somebody is maybe starting their own business, I mean, there's those videos that are on there for, new business owners. And look, there's probably like 40 videos just for, if you wanted you just want a lot of people just have questions like, how much money do I need, and what kind of insurance do you get, and how do you get your contractor's license? And so I just sort of answer those questions, and I never, ever run out of content. I have so many ideas that I just think of, and I jot it down on my little list here on my phone. And I mean, I just have pages and pages of ideas because you guys are asking all the questions. And so I just need to answer them, and it's actually helped out. There's this book that I read called They Ask You Answer. And sorry.
No, you're good.
There's this book that I read that was great for SEO on my company, which was They Ask You Answer. And that's basically what I'm doing with the YouTube videos is I'm just answering questions that I'm getting asked. I'm getting asked by customers. I'm getting asked by business owners. I'm getting asked by technicians out in the field. And so the more information I give out, it seems to come back like threefold to me in either appreciation or loyalty as a customer. And it kind of seems counterintuitive, right? Like you're like, what? You're giving all this information out. Like, yeah, I know it. And that does seem weird, but it's actually done way more for my marketing than any, pay-per-click could do on Google or anything like that. So
I bet
some of the words that I end up showing up for, some of the terms that I show up for on Google here in my local area, people are paying tens of thousands of dollars for these search terms when I'm not paying for any of it. I've never paid for pay-per-click. Just because my YouTube videos, as optimized as they are, seem to be targeting my area, and we're coming up for those search terms, and in our area, and it's free, but it takes a lot of talent, a lot of time, a lot of editing, as you know, to put such a, put that final product on YouTube. So
yeah, people don't realize all the stuff that goes behind it. That's why I commend anybody who does it. And that's one thing I can say, that the at least the YouTube community was always pretty tight. There's always a few bad eggs that we won't go into, but for the most part, everybody was always pretty tight and supported each other because you knew what everybody was going through. That, any video that you put out, you're out there busting your butt in the field, and then you're coming home and trying to edit that video and put it out. And it's not easy. Mm-hmm. And none of us are getting rich off YouTube or podcast or nothing like that. You make a couple extra bucks, but you do it because you're giving back to the industry. And at the same time, we make ourselves better. You create that discussion about a topic that you're like, oh, damn, I didn't think about it that way. That's a good idea. I never thought about it. Or they ask you a question that you don't know the answer to, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to find the answer to that question. And it makes your brain start ticking. So it's good for everybody. That's why I love the open dialogue. And that's kind of why I hate where Facebook has went. Like, I know I have one of the bigger Facebook groups, but I hate what my group has turned into, though, because I want to be able to have those discussions, those topics, and if I'm wrong, if we debate something and I'm wrong, then hey, I'm wrong. But that's how we learn and we get better when it comes to stuff. Just because you've been doing something for 30 years doesn't mean you've been doing it right. Right. This young buck might have learned from somebody who really knew his shit, and he's like, yeah, well, you don't do it that way. You do this. And you're like, oh, damn, I never thought about it that way. You know what I mean? So it's like we can all always get better. And like, I love what you've done, like I said, because when I came to Beltway, the last company I was at that I worked my way up from a technician up to be the run the company and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that was like a $10+ million company. I'd been around for 20 something years, and I left that because the culture, like, it wasn't a bad place to work for, but it wasn't a great place to work either. I'm just loyal to a fault, and I didn't like change. But when this opportunity came for exactly like what you did with your company, was the vision and the culture of what it could be when people love to go to work every day. And I guess that's why I've always clicked and liked you, man, because I feel like I think just like you when it's, I was good at sales, but I never sold anybody anything they didn't need. And I work for those companies like yours too, where you had to do this or you had to sell so much, or why didn't you offer them people a new system? Well, they didn't need a new system. That's why I didn't offer them a new system, and I feel like when you worry about money, you'll never make it. When you worry about the customer experience, and like you said, you build those relationships and you do the best damn job that you can do, then the money will follow, because there's so much honest work out there. That's all you have to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the 5-star online reviews will come so naturally. I mean, just taking care of people, like one of the biggest things you gotta, like we do those second opinions for, a customer will call and say, hey, this other company came out and told me I need a new system. My 8-year-old system, bad compressor or bad condenser fan mode or something like that. And they say I need a new system. Or the big ones, lately they say it's got R22 and they can't fix it. They can't work on it because it's got R22 or they'll get fined and stuff like that. So, I mean, you go out there and do those second opinions. And the thing is, if the part's available, we can fix it.
Yeah.
And what's wrong with fixing it? I mean, that's actually really good for the company too. I mean, the company makes money off of good money off of repairs. We create a relationship, a trusting relationship with the customer, so that someday when they are ready to change their system out, they'll give us a chance. They'll let us give them a quote on the new system. And even if we are a little bit higher in price than another company, at least that customer knows us already and how we stand by our word, how we do good work and everything. So, but yeah, in this industry, the guys that we deal with on Facebook and on YouTube and stuff like that, if you put bad information out there, they're going to let you know.
Yeah.
But it's been amazing to see how many of the old timers, like you were talking about, do chime in and say, boy, I've been doing this for 35 years and you hit the nail on the head. I'm glad there's honest technicians out there like you, you're like, wow, that right there is worth it all to me. Like that puts a huge smile on my face, because I think guys like you and I and really all these guys, AC Service Tech, Zach and Dr. Zarkalov, we're all just trying to lift the industry. We're just trying to lift the industry from a point where, a lot of companies gave it a bad reputation, real shiesty, So I commend you for the job that you're doing for the HVAC industry as well.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And it's, I just, I just feel like we need to go out. Like, I love to help people. I think that's why when I started out in the commercial space and industrial space, I love the challenge of what I was working on when I was doing that, like refrigeration, rack systems and stuff like that. The challenge of the work was great, but I hate it, like being by myself or stuck on a roof for like 3 days, like talking to nobody. It got to be boring for me. And I just kind of backed my way into residential, and I loved being that guy that saved the day. I loved helping customers. And when I left, they're like, thank you so much. Oh my God, you're amazing. And blah, blah, blah. And I just always wanted to educate them as much as possible. If they have a 20-year-old system and maybe it should be replaced, hey, it's old, it's not efficient, it does have R22. I can fix it today for $900. I can get it running. You know what I mean? I can get it running, but you probably should think about replacing it. If they say, I appreciate what you said, but I want to fix it, then damn it, I'm going to fix it. If they say they want to replace it, then hey, it's their decision. We're the professional. We give them our professional opinion, and then they decide what they want to do. People act like you got to go out there and beat them up and take their wallet. But on the other hand, I feel like if you don't give them all the options, then you're doing a disservice as well. Like the guy who goes and changes the capacitor and leaves and doesn't even look at the rest of the system. Well, that's not good either. You know what I mean? People value their time. I'd rather go out there and be there for a couple hours, be thorough, give them a detailed report or list of everything that I found, and they can tell me, hey, fix this, don't do that. And then God forbid, they tell me not to do that drain and it backs up the next day, which we hope it doesn't happen. But I can say, well, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Remember on the report I gave you yesterday, I said something about blowing that drain out. You just validated what you did. You covered your ass, and now they're going to listen to what you say. But that's better than changing the capacitor. We've all had those customers. Oh, don't worry about it. The problem's outside. The fan's not spinning. You know, you go out there, you change the capacitor, you give them a bill, you leave. They call back 2 days later because the filter looks like a cat died in it. So I feel like a lot of time is just taking the time and just don't get caught up in the BS. Just do the right thing. Treat every customer like it's your grandmother, your mother, and you'll really do good in this industry, because I don't want to take away from what we do, because I don't want to say our job is not hard, but when you really want to learn technically what we do, if you put your all into it, you can learn it pretty fast, in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, it's the guys who, and I tell all of our techs this, I said, the problem is a lot of you learn just enough to be dangerous. You learn just enough to get by, and then you stop. So you're holding yourself back. But if you keep learning and learning and learning, you can really know the ins and outs of this industry relatively quickly. Like, you don't have to be a 10, 15-year guy. I know some guys that have been in the industry 4 or 5 years, and these guys are smart as all hell. And they know everything about everything, you know, but they're still learning.
And probably making good money too.
Yeah. I got a couple 25-year-olds that make, you know, 150 grand a year. But
wow.
You know what I mean? But they're smart kids, and they will work their butt off. They're like, hey, Gil, I want to learn more about this. So I'm like, hey, well, meet me at the shop 8:00 tonight. I'll order some pizzas and we'll sit there and we'll go over it. And they're like, let's do it.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, man, that's the culture you have to, that's really is the culture you got to produce at your place of employment is that, you know, taking care of, like me and Melissa, I feel like our only job is to take care of our technicians and our admin team and our warehouse guy. You know, like, we take care of them the best we can. And then every single one of those 5-star reviews that's come from, you know, all 600 of those ones that are on Google and a couple hundred of them on Yelp, they've all come not from me and Melissa. They've all come from the technicians out in the field. So I feel like, you know, like that top down, you know, you're helping those new technicians, you know, giving them a little bit of extra training time. And I feel like we're doing the same thing on our end by showing the extra love, kicking them down, you know, extra money here and there, just acknowledging, because this generation really does like acknowledgement. They really do. You know, money is nice, but I think that the feelings are there too. Like they just want to be a part of a good team, you know, that's doing the right thing out there. I don't know what I look at the technicians that when I drive by the big companies, and I remember what my face looked like when I was walking around that place, you know, and it was just kind of down and kind of confused, but I'm doing my job and I'm making money and, you know, I'm providing for my family, but nobody really looks like super happy. But I can't, like, at my work, like, every time one of them technicians comes in, we acknowledge them. We're like, hey, Ryan, how you doing? You know, or hey, Colin, how's it going? And we all make a point to make, you know, to just show how much we care about those guys, you know. So that's the culture we're trying to create there.
And you can see that you've done that. And the best part about it is just watching your videos and seeing the interaction, like in a Facebook post or something. You wouldn't even have to say that because you can see it. You know what I mean? You can tell that what people are doing is authentic. And I agree. Like they say, like, good people are hard to find. Yeah, they are. So when you find good people, take care of them. Make them,
exactly.
You know, most people don't leave for money. They leave for opportunity. You know, they want to know they have an opportunity to grow. Like they're actually appreciated in what they do. You know, so we make sure that all of our guys are paid well. And sometimes we know if we have a slow time, does it hurt? Yep. You know what? But we still have our company fun days where we take them out and we go to Top Golf and we'll pay for whatever it is to do. We have one coming up next week, the 1st. So I guess it's Monday. We're going tubing down a river. You know what I mean? We're gonna shut the company down, and things like that just make a huge difference. The meetings where we buy them breakfast, or, you know, we try to get like nice work uniforms. So like sweatshirts, like I see like you buy like Carhartt sweatshirts and stuff like that, don't you?
Yeah.
It makes the guys want to wear it outside of work. You know,
they do too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're taking our guys whitewater rafting on the September 2nd. It's a Friday. Yeah, and then Monday's like Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Or Labor Day. So it's like a long weekend.
Yeah,
We're going whitewater rafting down the South Fork. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, see, we think alike, man. See, and we didn't even know that. We just said that. But yeah, and it's just, I always tell customers, I say that we are, you know, mostly like we're customer first. Well, we're technician first, because if we take care of our people and they're happy coming to work every day, they will in turn take care of the customer. You know, they're not bitter, you know, oh, fucking owner's out on his boat, you know, while I'm out here slaving away. We don't have any of that. Nobody asks what I'm doing, what Ryan's doing. Like they don't ask. They know that, you know, I have their back because I'll be out there on a Saturday. I'll meet them on any call. I'll bring them apart, whatever it is. And it's just,
that's perfect, man.
Yeah, I always want to try to be the manager that I never had. And I had some good ones, so I don't want to act like I didn't. But I always want to try to do those little things that, you know.
Yeah, treat people like you want to be treated.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like...
Isn't that so simple?
Yeah. And I feel like there's more and more of these companies popping up because of the podcast, I've been able to talk to some other business owners. And I feel like people like us, like your company and others, that there is one of these close to you. So if you're watching this, you're listening to this, don't feel like you have to be stuck at one of those big boys or some company that doesn't appreciate you, because I promise you there's that unicorn company in your area that gives a damn. And I love hearing it, but I hate hearing it where a bunch of employees we get, they're like, I didn't know companies like this existed.
Yeah. And from my point of view too, like if you're one of those, you know, quality technicians who's looking for a better place, you know, a better place to work. You know, like companies like mine, we want those people. I just might not be hiring right now. So, you know, squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? I mean, like, don't just try one time. If you want to work for a company or you want to work with somebody, keep trying. Like just, you know, every couple months, just pop your head in, because the owner's going to remember you. And very next time, because, you know, I mean, you know, as a manager too, it's like when I need somebody now.
Yeah.
You know? So if somebody keeps popping their head in every once in a while, I'm like, hey, that guy Aaron, he keeps popping his head up. I'm going to give that guy a shot. You know, he seems like he has good personality too. So that's a good tip.
Yeah. We have a younger guy like that he, we're just, like I told you, this has been a horrible summer in Maryland. If it was a normal summer, I'd have hired him, you know, 2 months ago, but we can't. But he keeps staying in contact. Like, hey, I'm here if you need me, Gil. I'm like, I appreciate that, buddy. I really do, man. Like, he calls me every once in a while. He'll even be at the company he works for and he'll get a technical issue and call me and I'll help him out still. But
that's cool.
Yeah. And when it comes a time that we have to hire somebody, he's first on the list. You know, or at least he'll get first dibs. I'll call him and be like, hey, we need somebody. We're looking to fill this van. I'd love for you to be a part of the team. And if he says yes, it's his. If he says, oh man, I actually like where I'm at, hey, more power to you, then I'll move on. But he's definitely the first one, you know, to be offered. And it's great to see that, because I know the first like several years that I was in this trade, it doesn't have to be that ball busting, never see your family, work until you get no sleep. Because I work for one of the big boys around here, and I never forget that, you know, you would get there. It's one of the ones where you get paid, it's a commission style pay. There's just no way around it. But you'd have to be there, you know, 6:30 in the morning for meetings, and you didn't get paid for those meetings, but they were mandatory. You had to be there. And where I am, it was on the other side of town. So you'd get there, you'd go through those meetings, and then you'd go to your calls, and you'd work until 1 o'clock in the morning. And I remember doing that for weeks and weeks. And, you know, I'm trying to be a tough guy. I won't complain. I suck it up. But it got to the point where like my body was going to shut down. And I called my manager and he said, well, why don't you go ahead and pull into a gas station and take like a 10-minute break? I said, I don't think you heard what I said. I am done for the night. and he got an attitude. And the next day I was like, yeah, you can take this van and shove it up your ass, because I don't want to be part of this. If one of my guys calls me, you know what? And I tell them on the weekend, if they run 3 calls, but they're exhausted, hey, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll move the rest of the stuff off. Now, every time they're on call, if they run 3 calls and say that, then we have a problem. But I am always going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They know their body better than me. And they're human, and they're the most important thing, because people are like, oh, what's the most important thing? Your customers. No. If you don't have technicians, then what the hell are you going to do with these customers?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you don't need to be out in the field. You need your people out in the field so that you can work on growing your business and perfecting your business and working on processes and marketing your company and stuff like that. Because if you're out there doing the selling, doing the fixing and all that stuff, you're not doing your company a service. You need those people out there, so you've got to treat them right and pay them fairly to just so you can try and keep them around, because it's way more expensive to be turning people over just because you had a spat with them, over something like that, so yeah, I mean, you hire somebody because you trust them, and if they tell you, hey, I'm not feeling good, I got to go home, what can I do, right? I mean, I'm going to move your calls to somebody else. We're all a family here, and I'm going to be moving these calls over to your peers, but you guys all get along, so you guys can deal with it, that way. But
yeah,
I'd much rather hang on to treat those people right and take care of them instead of turning them over. Take a 10-minute break. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was crazy. I would never ever do that in a million years. I look back on that, but you know what? That was part of the journey to make me who I am now, so maybe I'm glad that happened, because maybe I would have never left that place, or I wouldn't have left when I did, or whatever it was. So it's, it's crazy. And I really love the training part now, the actual helping other people, because how it is when you're good, so you can fix a lot of things, you can communicate to customers and sell if you need to. But then when you hire people, now you got to start to develop processes where, like the whole McDonald's idea. Okay, I need to be able to teach them how I do things so that they can go out, because I can't be in the field anymore. And that was hard to me. I was addicted to being a technician. I wanted that promotion because that was the next thing in my career, but it was hard for me not to be in a truck, not to be out there fixing stuff. But you're absolutely right. I need to be working on the business, or on the business, not in the business, and vice versa.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. No.
So yeah, and that was very, very hard. So now, the training part, I love doing that, and it also makes me better. I tell guys, refrigeration cycle. I feel like some of the other companies, they'd be like, oh, draw it on the board. Okay, well, drawing the refrigeration cycle and knowing the refrigeration cycle is 2 different things. So I'm like, okay, your system is overcharged. You have low airflow. What is the refrigerant doing here? What is the refrigerant doing here? That is knowing the refrigerant cycle. It's two different things. And we start to make fun out of it, like games and stuff. You know what I mean? Buy some breakfast sandwiches from Chick-fil-A that cost you $20, and they love you forever. We're learning. We're all getting better. And I just wish more places would do that.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I have, as business owners, nobody wants their best guys coming out of the field so that they can be those teachers, those instructors. But that is the natural progression for those guys, is to want to move up into a training position, or a service manager job, or an installation manager position. And what else? I'm drawing a little bit of a blank here.
No, you're good. But you're right, though, because then now you have to replace them. And to be honest, in my last company, I think that's why it took so long for the owner of that company to actually do it, because he didn't want to lose the revenue that I was bringing in. So it's hard. And people, okay, so obviously everybody sees your successes and what you've done, and so your company's been around what, like 6 years, 7 years now?
Yeah, we started towards the end of 2015 is when I got my contractor's license. And so I was up and running, late 2015. And so we're still going strong 7 years later. So
that's awesome. So people see the YouTube and they see your journey, and, it's funny when you watch those videos with the power of editing, it makes it look easy. But, I'm pretty sure it was a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of stuff that you and your wife, Melissa, had to do to be able to get to the point you are now. Like, that's what oh, yeah. Yeah. Like I always tell people, they're like, Gil, like you make owning a business like it's, so scary. No. I don't ever want to scare anybody. I just want to be realistic, because you can be the best tech in the world, but it doesn't mean you're going to be a good business owner. It's two different skill sets. Right. And I just want people to be prepared for what they're going to do so that they have a higher probability of not failing. That's all I want to do.
You have to choose whether you're going to be work in your business or work on it too. I mean, like I said, you can't be out there in the field. I know you want to be on the bag, you want to be working putting your gauges on and all that stuff, because you are a tech. But if you're going to grow your business, you have to get into the books, start following start reading the books of how to grow a successful business. Michael Gerber, the E-Myth is a staple that you absolutely have to read. The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. If you're gonna be successful, and it actually gives you a real sense of, oh my God, this is very enlightening. Like I need to be doing this and not that. And the great thing is that there's actually an E-Myth HVAC contractor that is out there, Michael Gerber, and another big name in the HVAC industry, Ken Goodrich. Oh yeah. Yeah, he is the HVAC contractor that chimes in every once in a while with Michael Gerber on, so there's an E-Myth for HVAC contractor. It's not on Audible, and it's not on ebook. You actually have to get the paperback book. But and then my other book that I absolutely love was Ron Smith's HVAC Spells Wealth. Awesome. That was a really good book. Amazing. Not like anybody's trying to get rich or anything, but his point is that your company is entitled to a good net profit at the end of the year. You provide a good service, and it's books like this that literally give you step by step. It's talking about business not being complicated, talks about your customers, what to do for your coworkers, how to get coworkers, talk about your company, marketing, sales, talk about processes and systems, which is what Michael Gerber is talking about in E-Myth. But I don't read some, I know you're a Grant Cardone fan, and I'm not a huge, I don't get into him as much. I don't get into Joe Rogan and stuff like that, but there are my people that I really enjoy reading, and it's actually drawn me. I'm starting a book myself, man. So I'm actually going to be doing I'm just starting the manuscript on it now, but I'm about 50 pages into it just in the last couple of weeks. And it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be motivation and instruction for everything you need to know to start your service business, and it's going to be for all contractors, not just HVAC, but plumbers and windows and masonry and all the contractors who are out there trying to start their small business. And so hopefully I can continue mentoring people as the years go on. So
that's awesome, man. Good for you. Because I've actually thought about writing a book, not so much to help business owners, but just an HVAC story, because, just to tell my story from the beginning to where I am now, about how I went through addiction and stuff like that, and never thought that I would be where I am now, just to kind of put it all out there, just to help people. And,
that's great for us, because our guys are in vans driving from call to call. So just like they listen to your podcast, from call to call, they'll listen to your audiobook the same thing,
Yeah. So, and it's funny. That's why I've thought about doing it. And all those books you said, I absolutely love. I love Tommy Mello's Home Service Millionaire.
Read that.
That's an awesome book. And two that aren't really one, Radical Candor, about how you treat your people. And then one is Boundaries for Leaders. That book taught me so much about how to treat your people, because when you, and I still have to read the last couple of chapters, and I get it. I've never been a big reader, but Ryan, the actual owner of my company, he is very big into reading books, and he's gotten me in it, because he'll be like, I want you to read this book, and I want you to tell me, like, you got a month. Like, I want you to read this book. I want you to come back. And like, if I didn't, he wouldn't say anything, but he's just kind of forced me to read, and it's really opened my eyes up with some of these books. And the Boundaries for Leaders really hit me, because the guy talks about, I forget the guy who wrote it. I think I got it right here on my books, but I recommend that to any business owner, anybody to read it. So it's Boundaries for Leaders by Dr. Henry Cloud. And that is amazing, because sometimes you think you're doing the right thing, but then the way they explain things, it's like, oh, well, shit, maybe I think I am, but it's not being perceived that way, and it's pretty wild. But yeah, I love that book, and I've read all those books that you're talking about, and they are amazing. And that's why I always say at the end of every show that nowadays there are so many resources, so you can never use the excuse and say, oh, I didn't know. Well, if you didn't know, it's because you didn't want to. Because there's YouTube channels, there's podcasts, there's books, there's, videos, there's whatever it is. You can learn anything. I mean, I taught myself how to edit and do audio through YouTube. I know how to fix HVAC. I'm not a disc jockey. I didn't know how to do this stuff.
Yeah. And other books that I'm really glad that I came across was, and this is obviously for people trying to start their own business up, but if you were interested, Multipliers is a really good book, because it kind of talks about people that you want to gravitate towards, people that you want to bring into your business, and the people that you want to avoid, some of the negative type people, just, and I know that's common sense, but maybe when you read a book like that, Liz Wiseman is the author of that one. And Scaling Up was another one from Vern Harnish. I've seen some of that one. Yeah, it talks about, just sort of scaling up from your smaller company to bigger ones. And 7 Power Contractor from Al Levy. And 7 Power Contractor is a really good one if you haven't read it. He's basically just giving you the 7 powers of, like organizing your company, getting processes down, marketing, running sales calls, things like that. Real true staples. The other ones I brought up was They Ask, You Answer. Was a super good book. Marcus Sheridan is the author on that one. And then SEO Workbook. That was another one. I really thought was a really good one. I actually have that.
Is the author of that like Jeff Lerner?
Yes. I know there's a bunch of them out there that are like really close to, SEO workbook, but I don't have that one in front of me right now. But
oh yeah, I think I have that one.
But those books, I mean, these are the ones that I keep coming back to, and I keep I'll get done with them, and then I'll just go back and listen to them again, and I'll buy them on Audible so that I can just pop it in while I'm driving. And then if I happen to be standing in line somewhere or waiting for whatever, then I'll pull the book out and read it. And Audible will usually, like when you open up the Kindle app, it'll usually like, hey, do you want to pick up where you left off on your Audible? And you're like, yeah, perfect. So it makes it really easy for learning stuff like that.
Yeah, I've never been good. Like I've always been a hands-on person. I've never been very good at reading and retaining information, but I do that where I get the Audible book. I'll listen to it when I'm riding. If I'm not listening to another podcast, because the radio, like I can only listen to music so much. I want to try to get better, Yeah. But I like to buy the actual hard copy of the book too, because I want to listen to it and then I want to go back and try to read it. And like sometimes when I listen to it and then when I read, I'll get 2 totally different things out of the same book. Like I'll take one point out when I listen to it, and then when I read it, and I'm like, oh man, I don't remember this. Like, this is awesome. Like when I'm actually seeing the words and stuff. But I was writing some of the books down that you did. I wrote them my little thing right here.
Yeah. Did you get them all?
I think so. Yeah, I got the 7 powers. They ask
7 power contractor.
Yep.
They ask, you answer.
Yep.
And multipliers, scaling up. And then, you said Tommy Mello's Home Service Millionaire was a really good one.
Yep. And then the one, like I said, the book
HVAC Spells Wealth.
Oh yeah,
from Ron Smith.
Yep.
HVAC Spells Wealth from Ron Smith. That was a staple. I mean, that was the first book that I read going into it. And his book, his book was like laid the foundation for me because you open the book and he talks about, like, he worked in Florida, putting ductwork in Florida, down in Florida on low slope roofs, 2 on 12, 3 on 12, trying to run ductwork and, starting at the farthest spot out and working your way back to the attic access because there's like literally no slope on the roof. So, I mean, it's nice because you can tell that he's been in the business. He's done the work that we've done. And then he gets to, so he tells his true story and then tells you, just some of the most basic things that a business owner knows now, but I didn't know then. And it was super helpful. And Melissa and I got to meet Ron Smith one time.
Nice.
Down at we were down at the Rude convention, and I forget where we were. Forget where it was, but it was in Vegas. I think it was in Vegas, and so we're all, I don't know. It was the next morning. It was like one of the mornings, and we both just happened to walk up to the line at the front of the breakfast cafe, and he was alone. It was me and Melissa. I was like, "Hey, Ron, how you doing? Would you mind joining us? If you're not with anybody?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's perfect." So he came over and we talked, and just super nice guy. And we talked about his book, and he gave us, he signed a book for me and everything. Like, look, I had my book on me and even signed it.
Oh, that's
cool.
awesome. I would love to have. I'd love to meet him.
Yeah. So
see, when you're an HVAC nerd, that's like meeting like Michael Jordan. Like it is when you meet those people. That's why when I get people on the podcast and I'm like, this is great. You know what I mean? Because it's those little things, like people that I watch their videos and stuff like that. So I can only imagine I would have been nerding out pretty hard if I met, Ron Smith. I'd be like, "Hey, we sign my book, please. I really love your book, Mr. Smith."
we got to have breakfast with him. So yeah, that was awesome.
That is awesome.
I was like, I got your breakfast. I got that.
That's the least I can do. I've learned enough from your book to pay for this breakfast.
Yes.
So that's awesome, man. Yeah, I won't. So we're a little bit out of an hour, man. So I won't keep you too long. But thank you so much for coming on, Greg. It was awesome to finally meet you in Vegas and to have you come on here and talk. And I have nothing but respect for what you're doing out there. I've followed you since the beginning. And like I said, man, seeing your journey from starting a business and a YouTube channel at the same time and watching the development to the amazing company that you've built now is just, it's so awesome seeing that journey. So touche to you, man. I'm happy for you and your wife that you're finally able to reap the benefits of your hard work now. It's amazing. You're doing things the right way, man. So good for you. And
I say the same for you, Gil. Like, I've seen you, I've known you for a long time as well. And I've seen your first stuff too. And where you are now, you look so professional right now, man. And you know what I mean? And you get to go to Baltimore Ravens games all the time. And, you're successful. You're doing it right. And you get to enjoy those little things in life from working so hard like you do. So, well, thank you, man. Yeah. Just like we're trying to do, like we said, man, we're just trying to give back to an industry that's been so good to us, and everybody can have those little things if they want it. They really can. So, yeah, man, I'm going to start closing this guys out. I mean, guys, if any of you have been living under a rock for the last, I don't know how many years, and you don't know who Greg is, or you've never seen his YouTube channel, I put a link in the chat. Go check out his YouTube channel. He has
amazing stuff that goes back. Like I said, if you're just wanting good content on, how to fix different things, watch it. If you're trying to start your own company and you want to see somebody else's journey going from a one-man band to, a multi-million-dollar company that he has now, watch his, I don't care what point you are in the career or what you're looking for, you can find it on Greg's channel, and that's the truth. So definitely go check that out. Yeah, man, stay in touch. Are you guys, I know this time it was close to your side. Are you guys going to do like an AHR again or?
Oh yeah. And I think it's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's Atlanta next year. So,
yeah.
I don't know. We might skip that one. But you know what? I had such a good time watching this year with the whole podcast, section. And then I ran into so many of you guys that I know from YouTube and stuff. And so it's so fun to see that. So like maybe if we go to Atlanta, I can meet like the real Zach Ciota someday, face to face.
I've never got to meet. Yeah, I've never got to meet Zach. I mean, he hasn't came to I think he went to Atlanta. The last one he went to was Atlanta the last time. So it would go, if you start with Atlanta, it goes, I think Atlanta, Orlando, Chicago, Vegas. Like that's the only four ones that do it. So I've been to Orlando, and then obviously because of COVID, Chicago got canceled. Then it went to Vegas. So I'll go to Atlanta this year. But I challenge
Ralph Wolf and Zach to go meet us down at the Atlanta. Oh, and Brian Orr. Let's get Brian Orr up there as well.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a good show if we can get everybody up there. That'd be cool to see.
Yeah. And normally they're all there. So like, I mean, being able to meet most of them, it has been amazing. Like I finally got to meet like you, Brent Ridley this time. Yeah. Craig from AC Service Tech. And like, I love going there and podcasting. Like, that's fun. But really, it's getting to meet people. It's the relationship you build. That's why I go. I won't even lie. If I had to go there and not podcast, I would totally be okay with that. Obviously, I have to because sponsors say so. But I like going, being able to meet people. Like me and Tersh Blissett from HVAC. Business Mastery Podcast. We become very good friends. I mean, I talk to him more than people I grew up with sometimes, so it's really cool building those relationships and seeing people. And it's funny when you watch somebody on YouTube and you meet them in person, you feel like you've known them for years.
Yeah, exactly. You just want to go throw your arm around Tersh and be like, hey, or Brent, like I think I came up right behind Brent. I'm like, hey, Brent, how you doing, man? And I got my guys with me. I'm like, hey, guys, this is Brent Ridley. Mr. Lowe's.
Yeah, I mean, Brent's blew up, man. He's got like 100 and something thousand followers on Instagram, and he's in my local Lowe's too. I'm like, I know that guy. People are like, yeah, sure you do. I'm like, no, I got a picture with him. I promise. Like,
right. Well, I appreciate it, Gil. I really do, man. I really appreciate the time, and I'm just honored that you would even have me on your awesome show. So that's really cool.
Oh, of course, man. I'm honored that you would come on here, dude. You've been great for the industry. And like I said, you were one of the guys that I followed and watched all your videos. Like I said, from you, when you in your truck, your Fox family heating and air, your Ford, I think F-150 with the stuff on the back. Yep. I watched all those videos. I always watched them every time you put one out. So finally being able to meet you and talk to you now is definitely amazing. And seeing the journey that both of us have made. So I commend you on what you're doing, man. I really, really do. And you're more than welcome to come on here anytime. So please, if anything ever happens or you want to come back on for any reason, please don't hesitate to reach out.
All right, great. I really appreciate it, man.
Yep. Thank you, buddy. I'm going to go ahead and close this thing out now. You can hang out in the green room if you want, Greg, or if you have to roll it, it's totally up to you, buddy. Just so you know. But guys, yes, thank you everybody for watching this, man. We had quite a few people between Facebook and YouTube. We got up to almost like 100 people watching this, so that's awesome. Yeah, man, this is awesome, man. I've wanted to talk to Greg for so long. And if you guys, like I said, if you don't follow his YouTube channel, I don't know where the hell you've been the last couple of years. Greg makes awesome content. He has an amazing company, Fox Family Heating and Air. I think it's heating and air and solar now, out in Sacramento, out in California. And you can just see that his people love working for him. They love where they are. And that's awesome to see. It really, really is. And if you see his videos from where he started, doing everything himself to what he has now, it's so freaking awesome to see. So means the world to have him on here. Somebody that I watched, that I followed, and now being able to talk to him on the podcast, that's awesome. It feels good coming full circle. And, but nice name, a HVAC story. But thank you to everybody that came out and watched it live. Remember, I got another show tomorrow night. I will be here live again tomorrow night. I have another kind of star that I consider, just like Greg's a YouTube star. I have an Instagram star tomorrow night. Mr. Jeff, Mr. JDem HVAC, Instagram extraordinaire. His installs are freaking amazing. What he looks down, the pictures of his installs and what he does, he is raising the bar to a whole nother level. So go check him out. Jeff Dem HVAC, JDem HVAC. I always forget his name. Jeff, on Instagram. Check him out. We will be here tomorrow night, 8:00 Eastern Standard Time, Friday night, to do that show. And that's just because I'm only doing it on Friday because of scheduling. I know my buddies over at Overtime do Friday night, so I try not to go in conjunction with any friends of mine, but it was the only time I could do it, and I didn't want to not be able to do it with Jeff. So anyway, follow the podcast on all the social media sites. Check the social media. I'm announcing the winners. I didn't get to it today because I was busy, but the winners of the giveaways, I will announce them tomorrow on social media. So I'll put them on Facebook and on Instagram. So make sure that you are watching that. And yeah, guys, be safe out there. All right. It's a crazy world we live in. We all got somebody to make it home to. So be safe. Guys, do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy. Like we were just talking about. Read the books that we just talked about. Listen to a podcast. Watch a podcast. Watch a video. There is always something you can do to make yourself better. I promise you. Nobody's going to knock on your door and give you a damn thing. So if you want it, grab it by the balls and go fucking get it. All right? Anyway, I won't keep you guys any longer until tomorrow night. I hope you guys are here to hang out Friday night. I know it's busy, but until tomorrow night, if I can't see you, I'll see you next Wednesday. But until then, man, I love you mofos, and peace. See you, man.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored Podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.